What if the flicker of uncertainty surrounding Jonathan Kuminga's future burns brighter than the Chase Center spotlight itself, casting long shadows over the Warriors' next chapter before it even begins? Welcome back to Warriors News Fan. Report where raw truths collide with splash-era passion. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so your heart never misses a beat. Jonathan Kuminga once the electric promise lighting up the Golden State Warriors' horizon. Now, stands at a crossroads as tangled rumors swirl around his fate like the Bay's ever-present fog. Since bursting onto the scene in 2021, the 22-year-old Congolese phenom has worn the blue and gold with flashes of brilliance, yet has struggled to nail down consistent minutes amid a roster primed to win now. Last season offered a glimpse of what Kuminga might become, averaging a career-high 26.4 minutes and 16.1 points per game, signaling growth and potential being shaped under Steve Kerr's watchful eye. But the 2024-25 campaign rattled that momentum. Starting only 10 of 47 games, his role shrunk despite a slight bump in production to 16.8 ppg. Could this paradox of declining opportunity and rising output be the crack growing beneath the Warriors' title contender facade? Trade whispers have circled Kuminga for more than a season now. The Congolese forward's name tossed like a hot potato between front offices hungry for the magic he could unleash. Sacramento Kings, among others, have dangled tempting offers. Yet the Warriors' brass, led by a persistently optimistic Joe Lacob, have refused all bids, holding on to Kuminga's raw talent as both a cornerstone and bargaining chip. But here's where the narrative takes a sharp turn, one that could reshape the contours of the Bay's basketball landscape. Sources close to the saga reveal a deal hanging by a single fragile thread of contract extension is only possible if Kuminga himself agrees to be traded before the February trade deadline. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points reports that while Kuminga's reps shopped his skills during summer league meetings, the Warriors front office remains torn, wanting to keep the player but knowing that salary cap constraints pushed him perilously close to the first apron with any extension. It's a chess match, a high-stakes gamble balancing talent retention against the financial realities of a super team hungry for longevity. Draymond Green's candid remarks echo through the whispers. Wherever Kuminga lands, he'll command a payday worthy of his rising star, a testament to the value Dub Nation knows he could one day realize if unlocked. The memory of Game 3 against the Minnesota Timberwolves, where Kuminga erupted for 30 points off the bench, drawing praise even from the ever-demanding Kerr, still lingers as a tantalizing hint of what could be, as his flashes of excellence ignite hopes and fuel frustrations alike. But Kuminga's desire burns clear. He wants to be on a team that truly believes in him, a team that values and nurtures his undeniable talent. Sadly, the Warriors are caught in the ruthless gears of a win-now machine, a roster brimming with established stars like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, tension simmering between immediate gratification and future promise. The organization knows Kuminga's potential is a rare asset, the kind that could yield high-value returns through a sign-and trade, transforming the roster or bringing the lottery pick into their rebuilding treasure chest. Yet, loyalty and hope tether the Dubs, weaving an intricate web of what could be versus what must be done. Could Kuminga's saga be the silent pivot that eclipses even the seismic shifts of the Kevin Durant trade? Are we on the cusp of witnessing the painful birth of a new era or the final act of a sunsetting dynasty? As a lifelong Dub Nation believer, my pulse is racing just writing this, battered by the same tension that grips fans in the packed Chase Center stands. And let's not pretend this is just about playing time or stats. It's about identity. Jonathan Kuminga represents the battle between old and new, between proven greatness and unproven hunger. He's the embodiment of that agonizing limbo the Warriors have lived in for the past 3 seasons, caught between honoring the legacy of the Big Three and planting the seeds of the future. And now that limbo is combusting into a defining moment. If Kuminga is moved, the ripple effect won't stop at the locker room. It will cascade through the fan base, the coaching philosophy, even the front office's reputation. Remember when Joe Lacob vowed to never go full rebuild, that the Warriors would never tank and instead master the rare art of competing while reloading. Kuminga was the centerpiece of that philosophy, the golden bridge from the Splash era to the next wave. Trading him isn't just a roster move, it's an admission that the tightrope act might have been too thin to walk. But holding him could be just as risky. If Kuminga's minutes remain inconsistent, if Kerr's trust never fully matures, if the locker room can't find harmony between roles and egos, then we risk losing him for nothing. His value diminishes, his confidence erodes, and a generational talent becomes another footnote in the graveyard of what-ifs. It's painful because you can feel how much Dub Nation wants this to work. Every soaring dunk, every coast-to-coast drive, every fierce defensive stand that Kuminga puts together sends a shockwave through the fan base like we're witnessing the birth of a future finals MVP. But the rhythm is off. The trust isn't fully there. And time? It's running out. Meanwhile, rival G-Miz are watching like hawks. They see the cracks in the foundation, the indecision that bleeds through press conferences, the subtle frustrations in Kuminga's body. Language. They know that a patient franchise a team like the Thunder, the Magic, or yes, even the Kings could give Kuminga 35 minutes a night, build an offense that lets him experiment, grow, dominate. They're salivating at the idea of poaching the talent the Warriors helped polish but never fully unleashed. And that's the irony, isn't it? The Warriors have poured years into shaping Kuminga, developing him behind the scenes, teaching him championship habits only to risk watching him blossom elsewhere, perhaps even against them in a playoff series that turns bitter. It's deja vu of the worst kind. Think Harden leaving OKC. Think Siakam evolving in Toronto. Are we about to let another star walk out the door just before he explodes? Even inside the team, the debate is reportedly fierce. Kerr has always favored structure, precision, control. Kuminga brings chaos, unpredictability, explosive athleticism that doesn't always fit neatly into the Warriors' motion offense. But maybe that's what this team needs: a jolt, a player who doesn't play like a clone of the past, who forces a reinvention rather than a repetition. Steph's window is still open, but barely. The dynasty's flame flickers, and perhaps it's a player like Kuminga, not another aging vet, who can toss gasoline on that fire. But if the coaching staff and front office can't agree on that vision, then all the potential in the world won't matter. So what happens now? Do the Warriors go all in on the present, flip Kuminga for another piece to support Steph's last stand? Do they gamble on extending him, knowing it will cost them dearly in tax and flexibility? Or do they ride it out, hoping this season becomes the one where everything clicks? These aren't just off-season hypotheticals. They're existential. Questions about who the Warriors are and who they're willing to become. Every franchise hits this point eventually. The Celtics did. The Spurs did. The Heat did. Now it's the Warriors' turn. And the answer may hinge on a 22-year-old with shoulders broad enough to carry a future, if only someone will let him. So tell me, Dub Nation, are we ready to bet the house on Kuminga? Or will we look back on this offseason as the moment we hesitated, the moment we blinked, and watched the dynasty slip away in silence? Drop your unfiltered takes in the comments. I'll be right there, heart in hand, because this moment matters more than we know. If you're sitting there feeling a pit twisting in your stomach because this Kuminga drama is slicing through our team like a dagger wrapped in blue and gold, you're not alone, and don't hold back, because this story's only getting nastier. We've danced on the edge of a dynasty fading before our eyes, but now the heat feels relentless, like the Chase Center air sick with suspense. And every conversation inside those locker room walls is a powder keg waiting to blow. Because here's what no one wants to admit yet. What if Kuminga walking away or being shipped off isn't just a salary cap move or a trade piece shuffled quietly in the night? What if his departure marks the first undeniable crack threatening to fracture this fragile Warriors empire, just as the ghosts of titles past are whispering for one last glorious stand? The tension is suffocating. Steph Curry, the radiant heartbeat of San Francisco, is battling not just defenders but the crushing weight of legacy expectations, the kind that crush lesser souls, but that somehow buoy him like a rising tide. Every shot he takes now feels gigantic, an echo of the dynasty he's built, but also a desperate attempt to hold the faded blueprint from collapsing. Yet, amid the swirling storm, Draymond Green's stellar voice of tough love now quivers with an edge of uncertainty. You can almost hear the cracks in his armor when he talks about growth, leadership, and the future. Draymond isn't just a warrior on the court. He's a barometer for the locker room's truth. And what the hell is that truth if Kuminga's star is fading from Golden State's sky? Pay close attention to the subtle shifts Moody's whispered. Frustration, Wiggins' quiet intensity, and the growing pressure around Kerr, the architect juggling not just X's and O's, but existential questions about what this team can and should be. Because make no mistake, Steve Kerr's vision is hanging in the balance. Balancing that aggressive push for another ring against the looming reality that maybe this iteration of the Warriors roster, the one knitted together with guts and glory, since 2015 is fraying beyond repair. And just when we think we've seen the floor drop out from under us, the whispers escalate. Not only are trophy contenders circling like vultures eyeing Kuminga's contract and untapped ceiling, but sources hint at a secret faction inside the front office questioning the sanctity of loyalty over pragmatism. Is Lacob's feigned optimism cracked too? Is there a less talked about faction pushing for transformation at all costs, a rash gamble that might mean embracing the inevitable rebuild under the veneer of a win now slogan? This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's a raw, emotional testament to the brutal realities that power the NBA monkey wheel. Talent versus money, loyalty versus survival, past glory versus future promise. And Dub Nation, you feel every inch of this. You hear the hushed debates that spill after games in crowded bars, the bubbling frustration on podcasts that bleed into heated Twitter storms where nobody wins but the void of certainty swallows every hopeful believer. Imagine the pressure cooker Steph's under already carving his name aggressively into the annals of NBA immortality forced now into a dual fight. Defend his dynasty's fading edges while grappling with the potential loss of the young talent meant to carry the torch forward. Picture Steph staring down this dilemma in late-night film sessions, wrestling with a future where the next woe play at the Chase Center might come from a replacement for Kuminga, not Kuminga himself. And what about Kuminga, right? The kid with a jaw-dropping future sketched out in highlights and promise, but trapped in a present that's as tight and unforgiving as a vice. His dreams are electric, pulsating with what-ifs that could rewrite not only his career, but the entire Warriors story. Because here's the burning question no headline can quell. Is Kuminga's heart still truly with Golden State? Or is the kid already envisioning new horizons, where the spotlight isn't just occasional, but relentless? How many conversation? Starters begin with, what if Kuminga? What if the Warriors lose him before he ever fully steps into the star they envisioned? What if the explosion he showed in flashes is snuffed out by politics and money? And with a trade looming like a thundercloud over the February deadline, every move the Warriors make will be dissected, second-guessed, and turned into the storyline that eclipses even the high drama of Durant's exit or Kerr's strategic masterpieces. The stakes couldn't be sharper because this isn't just about a player or a trade. This is about the DNA of Golden State being rewritten on the fly. A precarious balancing act where a single misstep could turn dynasty dreams into painful rebuild rumors overnight. And for fans who sat through the heartbreak of missed milestones, the elation of improbable comebacks, and the relentless grind that built this run, the idea of Kuminga's departure scars the soul. Yet the faint pulse of hope thrums louder than ever when you remember the magic moments. Those flashes of blue and gold sorcery when Kuminga's athleticism lit the floor and a fifth ring wasn't just a dream but a near guarantee. Could this heartbreak fuel a rebirth? Could it shatter egos and force a pivot to a new style, a new mindset, A new chemistry that brings fresh fire from unexpected places like Moody, or even unexpected breakthroughs from Wiggins or elsewhere. In battle-scarred Dub Nation hearts, that's the calculus painful uncertainty mixed with a stubborn, unyielding faith that the Warriors will find a way. But make no mistake, the tension is unbearable, teetering on a knife edge where every rumor, every tweet, every front office whisper is another thread in the net catching our collective breath. As someone who's bled blue and gold since the first We Believe shockwaves, who lived through the bruises and the parades, I feel it deep in my bones. This moment is a crucible. This isn't just a trade debate or a contract saga. This is the narrative that will either ignite the next dynasty flame or cast the darkest shadow over the final act of a basketball epic. So, Dub Nation, now is the time to let it all out, to share every wild theory, every gut punch reaction, every borderline hopeful conviction. Pour it all into the comments, no filter, no fear, just raw, relentless passion. Because in these collective voices, in this shared pulse of sweat, tears, and hope, lies the true heartbeat of Golden State. And I'll be right there with you, standing tall, bellowing back with every ounce of fight left in this legendary franchise.